you guys are getting two videos today. A review of Metroid Prime 1, which I have right here, includes a bonus disc, which as far as I know is just a demo of Metroid Prime 2, which it comes with two different discs. There is a Metroid Prime 2 bonus disc, and for a second I thought I bought the same game twice, but it says it's not yet rated, so I guess it must be some kind of a demo, because I have Metroid Prime 1 right there, I'm playing it right now actually. I have just had so much fun with this game. I'm literally playing it as I'm editing this video together right now. So, let's talk about a couple things with Metroid Prime 1. The story is that Samus Aran one day goes to a ship out in the galaxy for whatever reason, and she encounters a Hive Lord that blows her up and takes all of her weapons. Because, you know, hitting your head instantly makes you lose all your weapons and upgrades. Logic. Yes, Metroid Prime is not a very story-driven game. It's more about the gameplay, which is a lot like Terraria in a way. Or Minecraft, if you want a better comparison, since it is a 3D game. You're randomly dropped into a world, and you just kind of... Well, not randomly. You're dropped into the game with very little story. All you know is that you lost all your upgrades, you need to kill the Hive Lord, and after you get back all your upgrades. And that's all you know at first. There are other things. There is an actual plot to this game, because there's Metroids and pirates and all this stuff, but none of it really matters. The point is you're trying to get all your upgrades back and destroy the Hive Lord. That's the main objective you need to know. And it never really strays outside of that. I mean, there's Metroid Prime 2, which has a far more expansive story with tons of lore and background, but to get all the background and lore, you have to go out of your way to actually learn it by scanning things, but I'll talk about that when I get into the gameplay. I said you guys are getting two videos. The second video that you are getting is a Let's Play of the multiplayer for Metroid Prime 2 with my brother Matt. But in the meantime, we're playing Metroid Prime 1 now, I'm doing a review of it, we're talking about this now, so let's just get into it. Man, have I got things to talk about with this one. I recently picked up Metroid Prime alongside Snake Eater, as you guys know, and I just adore this game. I've become kind of obsessed with it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've put almost 5 hours into Snake Eaters now, but that's mainly just out of one obligation, because I bought the game after all, because I heard it was so good. And don't get me wrong, guys, I am actually starting to really like Snake Eater. It went from being a meh game after I learned the survival mechanics and started to really get into using camouflage and actually eating snakes. Yeah, the name's not just figurative, it's actually literal. But I still have not had as much fun with a game like Metroid Prime. This is easily my favorite Metroid game. Above Metroid Prime 2, above Metroid Prime 3, even above Super Metroid or the original. Especially the original. The original has not aged very well. So what are the gameplay mechanics of Metroid Prime? As I said, you're just dropped into this world where you walk around. It all takes place on one planet. It's not like multiple planets like Metroid Prime Federation Force. It is just one single planet. So, as Samus loses all of her upgrades in the very beginning because of some bullshit reason, she goes around getting more of those upgrades. So far, I have not beaten the game yet, but I have beaten the game in the past. I beat it once. This new copy that I got, I haven't beaten it yet. I'm actually pretty new, and my Samus is pretty bare and naked. So the main mechanics that you start out with from the very beginning are the ability to shoot, the ability to jump, obviously, and the ability to scan things. You do a combination of puzzle solving, platforming, and shooting and unlike some games where multiple gameplay styles just kind of blend together into a garbage cocktail, this game actually blends all these different gameplay styles and different formulas and makes a very smooth mixture. It's a lot of fun to play. And even though the game doesn't really tell you a whole lot, it's pretty random. You just have to play it and just do things. It doesn't tell you a whole lot. You have to figure out everything for yourself. Now, handholding is available in the form of online walkthroughs or within the game itself. If you spend too much time looking around without making any progress, the game will eventually point you in the right direction you need to go. It usually happens when you boot up the game or when you spend a longer than normal time looking around without making any progress, and the game's like, hey, I'll give you a little bit of a pointer on where you need to go next. And I congratulate that, because if it wasn't for that, I would be so lost. I've managed to find a couple of the upgrades, like the charge shot, the morph ball bombs, and a lot of it I did find by just exploring. But man, sometimes I just have no idea where the hell I'm supposed to go, and then the game gives me a pointer and I make my way over there. It's very helpful. It doesn't do a lot of hand-holding, but hand-holding is available if you need it. Unlike some games where they have Unlike some games where they have massive tutorials that just teach you everything and they just baby you to figure out everything, this game has a short little 30-second tutorial that just teaches you the bare minimum, and everything else you got to figure out through experimentation. And I like that. Metroid Prime is a very free game. It's a very fun game. It's a game to sink your teeth into, and it's almost kind of soothing to just blow up aliens and stuff. It's a lot of fun, especially, and it feels really rewarding to find new things. It's not just a sigh of relief whenever I find the next upgrade to move on. It is a serious sense of accomplishment. But as I said, and as I will always stress, Metroid is a game where you have to figure out how the game works by playing it. There's no tutorials of any kind. And I know that it will turn some people off, just having to experiment to find everything and being totally lost and confused. Kind of what turned a lot of people off to the original Legend of Zelda, and I totally understand that. So I can cautiously recommend Metroid Prime to people who like that sort of thing, just being thrown into a world and not knowing what to do and figuring out what to do by playing the game. I love doing that, so that's not really that surprising that I love playing Metroid Prime and I become super addicted to it. Unlike the second game, which is too dark and desolate and boring, and it's like the emo brother to Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 3 Corruption is like the chipper happy opposite of an emo optimist. There we go. So overall, I will say, if you love adventure games where you have to figure out everything by yourself, you will love this game. If you haven't already played it, go out there and play it. You're doing yourself a huge disservice. And if you just like shooting things and blowing shit up, I would actually recommend and if you want everything to be told to you rather than having to figuring things out through experimentation, I would play Metroid Prime 3. It's a lot more simple of a game, but if you like shooting things and less puzzle solving and figuring everything out for yourself and more like the game telling you and you're just having fun, I'll admit, Metroid Prime 3 is a great game. I like Metroid Prime 1 more because of the gameplay that it gives, but that's just me. Everyone else's opinion is going to be different. And Metroid Prime 2, I cannot recommend for anything except for the multiplayer, which is actually pretty fun. And if you have a couple buddies, it can be a good time. So overall, I give Metroid Prime a go play it if you haven't already played it out of 10.